The AHA has been fighting to build positive identity and community for the 46 million Americans with humanist values and make America freer and fairer for nearly 90 years. So some of your listeners who have, some history with humanism may have heard of the Humanist Manifesto, right? The seminal document written in 1933 that outlines what do we believe and why do we believe it. And the AHA grew out of that group that created the Humanist Manifesto, right? They had a conference to create it, and then they created a magazine, and then they decided that around the magazine they were going to build an organization. And the organization was founded in the early 1940s by Curtis Reese and John Dietrich. They were two sort of radical Unitarian ministers who believed that you could create, you could harness the moral community and the all of the sort of positive social technology of religion and direct it towards not worshiping some unseen authority, but actually, reveling in the things that are great about humanity, exalting our neighbors, challenging us to be the best people we can, not again to fulfill some ancient commandment, but to fulfill our responsibilities to the people around us. So they believed in this idea that we could use this very powerful tool of moral identity and moral community to direct people towards what matters most. And for Dietrich, it wasn't about believing in God or not. Dietrich famously thought God was irrelevant. He called it humanism agnosticism with a hyphen before some person who understood branding told him probably that a hyphenated identity was a little unwieldy to manage. But his feeling was, the humanist is only concerned with the God idea insofar as it distracts us from our obligations to our neighbors and here on earth. And so there's this idea that it could be almost like religion for the rest of us, right? Focusing us on the things that there wasn't enough energy focused on. And so the AHA has worked for decades to, again, create those communities for humanists, to help train the next leaders in the humanist movement, and to mobilize our community for social change, right? Service work, legal work, lobbying work, fighting not just for the separation of church and state, not just for religious rights for all people, but for a more humanist world, right? We were the first the first membership organization in the US to endorse a right to an abortion years before Roe versus Wade, right? And we spoke out against the Vietnam War and for civil rights and for trans rights and all of these causes that ultimately are about increasing freedom and flourishing for people.